Hey guys, welcome back to another board game night, and we are playing the very new Eldritch Horror. This is Michael's game, who is here with us tonight. Hey Mike,
Hello.
how you doing?
Very
We've got
well.
Tony, and Dee and myself. Hey Dee. Right, considering we don't know much about this game, as Michael's brought it over tonight, Michael, give us a quick description of what we have to do.
Okay, so Eldritch Horror, for those of you who are watching who have played Arkham Horror, it's a similar themed game to that, in both mechanics and in kind of like a thematic form. We are playing 4 investigators who are going to roam around the world trying to solve mysteries to stop the Ancient One from rising.
And who is the Ancient One today?
The Ancient One today is Cthulhu, the big bad guy, and he is going to rise from the deep and eat the world, basically, unless we 4 people can stop him. We are playing a sailor, an expedition leader, a spy and a soldier.
So, quite rough and tumble.
Yep, we have no mental ability between us. So the game works basically, various things will spawn around the table depending on what happens on these Mythos cards that we draw, and it will put tokens down, and we have to get to the tokens and resolve events that will happen on the back of particular cards we have to draw, and we will gain clue tokens, and that will let us solve mysteries. We have to solve 3 major mysteries to complete the game. Our first major mystery is to kill the daughter of Cthulhu, who is this lovely pretty little lady down here. And so we've got to go there and we've got to beat her up before she spawns loads of stuff and kills us. So that's our initial objective.
Okay, how do we lose?
We lose by this doom track up here. It starts on 12. If it gets to 0, Cthulhu wakes up and then the world starts to go to hell. Once it gets to 0 and he's woken up, the game becomes an awful lot harder for us to even just move around the board. And when we die, we are wiped out. He will win the game by wiping out all the players. So that will happen once he wakes up reasonably quickly. If we're close to winning when he wakes up, there's an okay chance we might still be able to win. But generally, when he's woken up, it's starting to go really bad.
Okay, so there's a basic overview. What we'll do is we'll come back in a little while when we're in the meat of the game, and we'll do a little game turn, so you can see how the mechanics work and what's new and what's streamlined from the previous games. And you can see if you like it or not. A lot of decks as usual.
A lot less than Arkham, though.
Yeah, but Arkham does have like 20 expansions. Lots of tokens, the usual sanity and mind things, clue tokens. Right, let's do this. Right, just a little update on where we are. We've just completed the first
mystery, they're called.
Mystery. Michael defeated Sathilia, or whatever her name is, Cthulhu's daughter, down here, and that meant we've completed that first objective.
I very nearly went mad doing it, but luckily she was susceptible to being shot in the face by a carbine rifle, which was quite handy.
As everyone is.
I threw my fishing net over her first, though, so...
That's the state of Michael's character at the moment. What's your effect? You got suffering from hallucinations.
I'm suffering from hallucinations, which isn't good, but I do have a rifle, a fishing net, and a holy cross.
Mine
Jason has a party of adventurers.
Yeah. I've got some hired muscle, private investigators, urban guide, a witch doctor, a grotesque statue, which is not D, and a spirit dagger, and I'm blessed. I've also got a pile of tokens.
Jason is doing very well.
And I'm down there. I've just completed the Himalayas. What do you call it?
That's an
compass
expedition.
Right. So D's got quite a bit of stuff as well.
I myself, the spy, have myself a nice pocket watch with some fine clothes.
He thinks he's James Bond.
my wall for PPKs. I got a protective amulet, some bandages, a puzzle box, a lucky cigarette case. Now, I'm also suffering from amnesia. I did have a bank loan, but I met a shifty guy that looked like me in a dark alley. So I decided to do a bit of a dark pact. I'm sure it'll turn out okay.
As you do. Tony?
Me, I'm the combat monster. I'm loaded up with weapons, dynamite and kerosene because they're all against me and I'm paranoid.
Well, there you go. Got a real mix of characters in this one.
So at this stage, the game is going surprisingly well, we all think. Reading things on the internet, a lot of people say they do well at the beginning and then it kind of like seems to spiral, but I think we're doing really well at the minute.
Oh god, someone touch wood quickly.
Not that kind.
the second. What was the second?
So we have completed the first mystery. You have to complete 3 mysteries before you defeat Cthulhu and stop him rising. So we defeated the first one, which is beat up his daughter. The second one, he has sent a massive wave of deep spawn to attack the coastal areas of the game board. So you can see all these tentacle markers have appeared in various places around the board. So now our mission is that we've got to go to various ones of these, beat up some deep one monsters, and spend clue tokens to amass enough so we've killed and defeated enough deep ones so we stop that scheme of his. So then there'll be one more scheme he'll put into play. If we manage to defeat that, then he won't rise.
Otherwise it'll be mono or mono.
That is it.
Alright, we'll come back in a minute with some gameplay as well. And then you can check out how the turn sequence works. Okay, welcome to the gameplay phase. This is, we're going to do a little turn for you, so you can see how the mechanics work. So the first thing we decide is who's going to be the lead investigator. And we have decided it is going to be...
The spy!
Yeah, because that's always a good idea. So, D will be first player, and then we go clockwise, right?
We do, and each player gets to take 2 actions in the action phase of the game, and then we move on to the encounter phase and then the Mythos phase. So D gets his 2 actions in the action phase first of all. So
first thing I'm going to do, I'm currently already in a little city over here. So,
Which is...
Bombay.
In
Bombay.
Bombay, I'm going to buy a travel ticket.
So he's going to the token, and he's getting himself a ferry token basically, or a ship token.
There's different types. There's trains and ship tokens. Uncharted is basically moving through the wilderness, so you can't get there. And what it allows you to do is move an extra space, essentially, for every ticket you discard.
I'm going to do it straight away. So essentially I'm going to do that. The reason why I need to do it this way is because you can't do 2 move actions. You can only do your same action once. So you can do 1 move, 1 city. And so
Jason's trying to make the viewers ill by tilting the camera repeatedly.
Well, I thought we were going by ship, so I was going to make it seasick.
Ah, I see. So he's moving there and spending his
straight
token, so he gets his extra move, and he's moved into the heart of Africa. So that's his 2 actions. He bought a token, and then he used the token to move further with a move action. So Tony, what are you up to? Tony's got quite an exciting turn.
Yes, I'm presently, well, last turn I was in combat with the spinner and the webs. And in regular combat I managed to
Which
take
is right
2
there.
of its.
It's a big epic monster that's
Flip it over so they can have a look quickly.
It's got 3 wounds left, 4 wounds left. It causes me to fight with -2 strength combat.
That's what it looks like.
And
a giant
it's
spider.
Giant spider.
There you go.
Which could bring the game to an end.
Yeah, that's quite
if
hectic.
it got rid of that final token.
So it's kind of like, there's lots of effects that have kind of like a ticking clock on them, and then there's one of the phases of the game causes that clock to tick on, as it were, and you resolve various things around the board, and that one has an effect that if it runs out of tokens on it, we lose the game, and it only has 1 token left on it. So Tony has been in charge of killing it, so he's hopefully about to do the death blow.
Well, last turn I engaged it in combat and took 2 of its strength off, but this turn I'm going to use powers in actions to get rid of the final bits of health on it. So one of my personal actions as the soldier is you and the monster on your space both lose 1 health. So there we go. And then the second action...
That leaves it with 3 health left.
3 health left. And the second action is I'm using dynamite.
Woohoo! Everyone should have dynamite.
Yeah, lighting that with my cigar, throwing it at the monster, and as an action, each monster on your space loses 3 health when you discard this card.
Kaboom!
3 health.
So that monster is gone, so we're not going to lose the game due to that evil git.
We're not gonna lose this game full stop, man.
Hopefully not, we're still doing well.
So there's that one.
I lost my
Alright,
bless,
the
by the way,
monster
so
goes back.
you can't see my sad face, but I'm very sad.
Discard one of the tokens from this, which it was doing when we had one of the timed events as a group spends. Okay, when you so we get nothing from this.
Ah,
We just
don't lose the game.
when this card enters play, it spawns me. Yep. No.
No, so that one's out of here.
I think not losing the game is quite a good bonus.
It's a reasonable bonus.
It's a good positive to not
And
lose.
that was my 2 actions.
So,
Right,
my
Mike.
action, my character is really good at sea, but you'll see all these tentacle tokens are really bad if you're trying to travel around the sea.
Yeah,
So
he's Popeye.
D has an item which is a stopwatch, which stops you being delayed, and that's what these tokens do. When you encounter them, you get delayed. So I'm now going to try and move to D's space, and I'm going to exchange his stopwatch for something of mine. I'm going to give him a holy cross, so then I can head back out to sea and kill some more monsters.
That's what he thinks.
So my character has a special action.
If you've watched our videos before, you know not to trust that face.
So my character's got a special action because he's a sailor, but I get to move on the sea space once. So I move once to there. I then get to take another action. So my next action is going to be I am going to take another move action then, because the first one didn't count as a move action. So I'm going to move on to D space, and then when on D space, I'm going to take the trade action, meaning that I get to trade items of D. So I'm going to give him a holy cross.
I'm giving you nothing.
And then I'm going to club him with my fishing net.
His free action is only when he's on ocean tiles.
Yes.
So he's basically his two actions were move there and trade.
And that's my turn done. So now I'm going to grab the camera and you get to see Jason's lovely mug. There he is.
Well, my two actions.
Look at all that stuff he's got. It's just absurd.
I'm gonna rest.
So where's your character, Jace? You're over in Shanghai at the minute. Look at how ruggedly handsome he is.
It's
Oh,
where is his coach party?
Yeah. Jason has, I think, 5 followers at this point.
Yeah, 5
You
hours.
have 5 allies.
5 allies.
Which I'm gonna use one now.
I have a fishing net.
I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna do a rest action, and normally you can only when you rest you can only heal 1 sanity and 1 health.
Yes,
But
so
because I got the witch doctor, I can heal additional health.
Jason's
and I can
coterie of followers gives
Yeah.
him so many bonuses.
And I can also get rid of any curse effects, which I don't have.
Nice.
So I'm back up to full health and full.
So that's
Sanity.
Jason's first action.
Then my second action is going to be to move, which I'm going to move there for 1.
So that's 1 space move, but he has one of those tokens we spoke about. So you can use actions to buy these tokens, then spend them in later turns if you want. So it's a good way of kind of like saving up movement, as it were. You can spend 2 of those tokens per movement to move 2 extra spaces.
The party ferry has arrived in Sydney.
Okay, so now we are on to the encounter phase. So if I bring you back the camera, Jace,
Yeah.
because I need to pick out cards and stuff. So D is at the expedition token, so he gets an expedition card. Basically, every token you see that's on a space on the game board relates to a different deck of cards, and you can encounter that token to then try that deck of cards. So
You can see the pictures on the back represent what they're looking for.
So D is having an expedition encounter.
Okay, in the heart of Africa, the old Bangu lands to the grey city of the white gods relies on landmarks that are now overgrown by the dense jungle. I search carefully to recognise anything familiar. I must test using my observation skill. On my card, I've got an observation skill of 4, so essentially that means I roll 4 dice.
And 5s and 6s are successes, just like in Arkham Horror.
Just like in Arkham Horror.
I
Many of the
don't
mechanics are carried over, it's just streamlined quite a lot.
So I don't have any special abilities which allow me to get an extra dice.
So, okay.
2 successes, only the 1 success to be successful. So the result is, I find the remains of a white ape and study the bones. Okay, I need to do another test. Now I do
You're a
law.
sick man.
Law.
So law, I only
dear.
have 1.
Oh, come on, folks. 5 or 6.
No, clever.
No.
So I won't read what happens if you pass. It's really annoying because I just read what it does. If you fail, something about this creature makes you doubt your own humanity. Gain a hallucination condition.
That's to go with your amnesia.
Yay! And my dark pact, which is the reason why I was trying to search through a white ape.
It's great, you can start hallucinating and then forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the best things about this game, there are lots of conditions you can get through various game effects that happen as you go along. But the way the game does it is, it gives you about 3 or 4 of each condition. The more popular ones, I think there's up to 8 of. And they all have the same on the front text of their card, which are the basic ways of how to get rid of it and how you test to see if it takes effect on you. But if it takes effect on you, you flip the card, and every card has a different back to it, so there'll be 4 different hallucinations in here. But each one will have a different effect when it comes into play, or when it takes effect on D. So you won't know what the effect is, because you're not allowed to look at the back of the cards until it happens.
Which I think is really cool.
Which
So
is really
it
fun.
hides that little intense of,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
what's
it.
going to be.
Yeah.
But D's got a dark pact condition at the minute. He has no clue what's going to happen when it
I've got
comes into
amnesia,
effect.
so more to not
And now
having
you
any
have
clue.
hallucinations.
Nice.
What's quite interesting, what I think we should do here as well, I can't see the back here, but I'm going to show the back of hallucination to the screen.
Nice
And
idea.
I'll
And
look
obviously
away.
Jason will look away from behind the camera.
So we've
just
got
make
no
sure
way
we
of
can
knowing
see
who's
it.
going to focus.
Yeah. I can't read it, but I can.
Right, so there you go. So that's what will happen if I fail my hallucination test when it comes up to a certain time. So, but we all have no idea what that does.
have no
so,
And we have no clue if you know either because we can't see if it's
Yes.
focused.
So, D has failed the expedition card, so this one goes on the bottom of the deck, and the expedition deck's quite interesting because it has pictures of the locations on the cards. So when you either do one or complete it or fail it, the expedition counter that's on the board moves to another location. Unfortunately, it's now moved to the Antarctic,
Oh, for
which has a tentacle monster, an elder thing, and it's well out the way. So we're not going to be going there for some time.
end of expedition.
They've been really good to us, but alas.
right,
So-
now it's Tony.
Now it's on to Tony's action. So,
Tony's up in Greenland.
because he's not at a special location, he's not at one of the big cities, and he's not at a site where you can do expeditions, he's just
It's
to
the
take a
wilderness.
generic card, and on it it'll have a different
Okay,
text to
the
read out.
wilderness. Far from any roads or villages, well it is Greenland, you find a shallow grave marked only with arcane symbols.
Don't read it!
No. As you dig, even better,
Of course you do.
That's what
a
I do.
growing dread weakens your resolve. So I've got to make a will.
Stop digging then.
Yeah. Okay, my will is 4, but I do have the Vatican missionary, which gives me another 1 will,
He's
which,
helping dig in the grave. That's all Vatican
Get
missionary
down
do.
there, Padre!
which gives me another will, which is 5 will, and I get to re-roll one of them due to him as well.
So he's looking for 4s, 5s, and
Yep,
6s because
because I'm
Tony is
blessed.
Blessed. I love
Truly is
blessed.
the chosen of God. Oh, look at that!
I stand back and let the missionary finish digging the grave. If you pass, you find a charred corpse clutching a journal. Gain 1 clue, or improve your lore by 1.
Ooh, what do you fancy?
I think I'll improve my lore by 1.
So, you've got a set of skills on the bottom of your character sheet, and each of those can be improved up to 2 times. So there's little tokens which have a +1 and a +2 on them.
If you
So,
flip it over, it's a +2, and that's the
Yeah.
max it can go.
There's
Tony is
+1
gained
lore.
+1 lore.
Quite interesting. A lot of people have got some stat increases. Jason's
Yeah.
got +1 to strength. I've got +1 to will and intrigue.
And then we
Tony's
shuffle this
+1
back
to
in
lore.
here.
Now we
Also,
get
because it's a
back in.
co-op game, I mean, I had a card last turn which allowed me to increase any one of my skills, but it delayed me for a turn, so it basically means I'd give up my turn to increase my skills. One of my skills, which I chose not to do because, I don't know, giving up a turn,
yeah,
yeah.
we made
Turns
this
are
decision.
are a good resource, aren't they?
Yeah.
You
If
can do a
you
lot
had
with
if you had a vital, so say for example, Jason seems to be sort of a jack of all trades. He can do everything fairly well. While if you got someone like Tony, he may want to just increase his fighting even more and just go around and
Who runs up to
try
people and
things.
kicks them in the nuts.
And also the delayed mechanic, the only thing it does is it stops you taking any actions in a turn. You still get the encounter. So if you're on a space that's got good encounters you wish to do, it's not so bad being delayed. But if you're delayed in the middle of the sea when there's nothing interesting to do, it's much more painful.
Yeah.
So, I am in the heart of Africa. If when Dee had attempted the quest, the top card had still been the Heart of Africa card, because there are 4 of each in the deck, then I could have gone on an expedition at the same place. Because that's gone, I have to take a random wilderness card, so I grab one of these, similar to what Tony just had. It could even be the same card, because you shuffle each deck every time you put the card back.
Just show the card quickly, because there's
Yeah, so
other side.
Oh, the other side, so...
Because there's 3 locations: city, wilderness, and sea. So that, you know, they could be read. Even if you draw the same card again, you could be in a different location to get
Yeah,
a
there's a
different
reason that
effect.
card. There's a good
Yeah.
like 15 cards there, so it's unlikely you're going to repeat them. And from what they've done in previous games, there'll be a lot more of those cards added in
Yeah.
future expansions.
Expansions galore.
So, I'm in the wilderness. You help a young woman search the countryside for her uncle. I have to make a observation check. My character, being a sailor, has pretty good eyesight. I have 3 dice, but I don't have anything that helps me, as I'm quite poor on the old equipment front.
Should get some allies.
I have succeeded in the observation.
he stole them all.
If I pass, I find the eccentric old man, and he gives you a gift for helping his niece. Gain 1 tome artifact from the equipment deck. So, this is the equipment deck, has various kinds of types of equipment in. So, I look through here and find a tome. This one doesn't say a random tome, so I get to choose which one it is.
Do you want to finish your turn first and you can have a little look through? Or...
That is the end of my turn after that, and it is the only tome left in the deck, so I have gained the arcane manuscripts.
If you're wondering why I got so many allies, my ability is I can roll my influence test, and I only need 1 success to get an ally from either the graveyard or the reserve. So every time one comes up, I just buy it.
Okay.
Although I'm not sure how allies get to the graveyard yet, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Lots of stuff can kill them. So I should grab the camera and point it at Jason. Up there he is. What are you doing in your turn, Jace? So where are you? Oh, Jason's got quite an interesting turn. So down here, there's...
Maybe we should pause that to D.
Yeah. Over away.
Right. So a bit of combat shenanigans.
So this is what... So when you are on encounter, you have to encounter the cards that are there. Before you can do any encounters there, you have to fight any monsters. So Jason is in combat with this lovely, pretty thing there.
And you only fight one round, whether you kill it or not.
It looks lovely.
If you fail to kill it, then you don't get to encounter the space underneath it. So this is a shog-off. On the back of the cards, if we see this, it has two different tests you have to make. First of all, he has to make a will test. If he succeeds it, it doesn't deal him mental damage. If he doesn't roll high enough, he's going to lose some sanity fighting it.
This one here says you do a will test and it's going to do 3 points of sanity. So essentially, for each success, you reduce the damage of sanity you're going to take.
Let's do that test, shall we, Jace? So what's Jason got? Now Jason has to think and add up all of his relative bonuses he's got.
I've got 3 will, so that's 3 dice. Then I've got a spirit dagger, which gives me +1 will. And I have an urban guide when you're in a city.
Who has done everything.
Then gives me 1. So I've got 5 dice, so I'll get to...
5 dice. So, every success he gets on this will reduce the damage he's taking by 1.
So I've got 1.
So he's got 1 so far, and he needs to roll his extra dice for his 5.
So I've got 2.
So he's got 2 successes. The monster did 3 mental damage, so he takes 2 off of that, so he loses 1 mental health.
I do have a grotesque statue, which I can ditch a clue to prevent sanity loss. But I don't think 1 is a big deal.
For the sake of 1, I think it's okay to take it. So
that's it. Right. So then we move on to the next portion of this card. If you want to explain it again, D.
Right. So the way this one works, the second stage is basically where you're fighting it. So you're doing a strength test, which is the guy flexing his muscles. It says -2, so you use your strength test -2. So looking at Jason's card,
I've got strength 4.
So 4 standards plus his horde of minions.
I've got a hired muscle, which gives me up to 5. Allows me to re-roll 1. My urban guide puts it up to 6.
Got on of that guy.
And the spirit dagger gives me 2 more. So I've got 8 with
in
the
total.
re-roll.
So with 1 re-roll, so then
-2.
The -2 because of the creature, so essentially it's 6 dice. Same situation where it does 2 damage back to you. So you essentially, the amount of successes that you roll, for the first 2 successes, that's used to essentially negate damage back to you, but it also does damage on the creature, if that makes sense.
So the creature's
the
health is there.
The top corner, that's how many health it has in total. So essentially, Jason is looking for a minimum of 2 successes, and ideally looking for 4 successes to kill it.
This creature's special power lets it heal all of its wounds at certain points of the game, so he really does want to kill it.
So I've got 2 successes I've got 6 dice, so I've got 2 more dice.
Yep.
And then I get to re-roll 1.
Okay, come on, Jace, we need
3
this.
successes.
No!
Ah!
So he's done 3, so it does mean that he's done 3 damage to the creature.
So we put this card back down over here and put 3 damage on it.
Where I was mentioning before where it had the 2 damage, that basically means that it's trying to do 2 damage to Jason. Because you've got 2 or more successes, that means he doesn't take any damage back from it.
Okay, because the creature isn't dead, Jason doesn't get to encounter the gate, which one of the missions we're trying to do. There's lots of stuff we have to keep on top of in the game, and one of the things is we need to close as many gates as possible because they're opening up all over the world.
For example,
there's some about.
Gate over here, with a creature on top of it in San Francisco. There's a gate in Rome.
I know.
There's also a gate underneath.
Only you were still blessed, Jason.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, those are the gates. That is how combat works. So that's the end of
the encounter phase. So now we have the evil thing phase. So in this phase,
I'm sure there's another official word rather than evil thing phase.
Mythos phase. We turn over a Mythos card. So if we turn this one over and see what it says. So the first thing you do on a Mythos card, it has a selection of symbols on the top of the card.
Yay, no red gear thingy.
No red gear thingy. So the first thing is this little symbol up here means move this track over. It's the Omens track. So move that round to a blue. When you move this round, you then have to look and see what gates are on the table, and for every gate that has this blue symbol on it, we have to advance the Doom track by 1, which is the we lose the game track, basically. So if we look around, the gate over here has a red symbol, so we're fine. One in Rome has a red symbol, and the one in San Francisco has a green symbol, so the Doom track doesn't advance.
That's always good news for us.
Then we have a Monster Surge. So the Monster Surge says, Resolve a monster surge on each space containing a gate that corresponds to the current omen, or spawn one gate if none are on the board.
So as we just saw, there was no symbols on any of the gates that we
This
had.
little card down here.
So essentially,
This little card, you have a different card that you put on the game board somewhere, depending on the number of players in the game, and it alters the difficulty of the game. So if you're playing with lots of players, it ups the difficulty. So it's a way of making it balance the number of players. So it says Monster Surge, we have to do it twice.
Oh.
So that's quite hard. So
would you do it one at a time then?
we do it one at a time, yeah. So the first one is a London gate. Right, so that one goes there, and then whenever a gate appears, we stick a random monster on. So Tony's going to grab one from the random monster cup.
We have Hounds of Tindalos.
Oh, he's nasty. I think he hunts down players. So when that red symbol comes up on one of the Mythos cards, he'll hunt down players, and then we spawn another gate.
So just a question, Michael. The
Ask me
cards,
rules questions and see if I know it.
on the omen, it says that if there was one of those symbols, spawn a gate. If we're doing it twice, now there is a gate with
No, because I think we've already
relevant
moved
symbol.
past that stage, I believe.
What happens if we draw this? Oh, no,
But
it's
I
on.
could be wrong.
So I'm not sure if,
I tell you
if
what,
it means that
this
now
will
there's
let
one in
us
place.
use this. This is the first game I think they've done that has two different types of rulebook with it. It comes with the basic rulebook, which tells you how to play the game. Then it comes with a reference guide, which basically has lots of question answering in it. So let's see if we're going to make this video long. So this is
Press the
Monster
red button.
Surge.
We'll come back when
Yeah,
it's
so-
done.
No,
Yeah,
it's
so
okay.
we'll-
Take a sec. I've already found it because it's nicely alphabetised. If a Mythos has a Monster Surge icon, resolve a Monster Surge on each gate corresponding to it. If there are no gates that open on the game board, respond to that there, spawn one gate instead. So yes, you would do it twice. So we need to... Aha! I see what it means. No, it's fine. We don't do it again.
No, so we only spawn the one gate.
What it
essentially.
means on this card, it's said in nice little referencing, it means when monsters spawn,
You would spawn
it
two
spawns
monsters.
two, but it doesn't
Right.
do the gate
So
part
because it
twice.
doesn't, essentially you open
Yeah.
one gate instead of
One
spawning
gate
two
instead.
monsters.
So
Right.
perfect
Because I was
sense.
just thinking, if there's another one which said
Yeah,
Monster
and it had
Surge
that
3, then
token
opening
on.
3 gates is pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Could I use that to reroll it?
Come back to that in a bit.
Okay,
You can
right.
use the reroll dice, but
So
I use certain dice.
that's the end of the evil super phase.
No, it's not. So the next
so
thing
another
on the
one.
card is clues. So again, we refer to our player card. It says whenever the clue symbol comes up, we put 2 clues on the board.
Clues are marked at the back. So we got one in Sydney and one in London. Isn't that ironic?
Both where the
Nice, nice. So wherever clue tokens on the board, you can have a clue encounter in the encounter phase. So basically, any token that's on the board, you can encounter in the encounter phase to have something happen.
quite a few dotted around.
There's loads on the board this time.
Yeah, you know, it's going too fast for the camera. There you go. So there's loads of clues all over the place.
So that's that bit done, and now we get the kind of flavour part of the card, which then has an effect at the end. So I'll read this out in my creepiest voice. When you get there, stop at this address.
Put a voice on.
Sorry. The nervous little man hands you a business card for a restaurant. Ask for the catch of the day, and then tuck a sawbuck into your napkin. These guys can get you the answers you need. When you get the bill for your meal, it includes directions to a payphone. It's already ringing by the time you find it. Your answer, and explain your situation to the gruff voice on the other end of the line. So, that's a nice bit of flavour text. Everything in this game, because it's trying to tell a story, as it were. It's trying to draw you into the game, and it really helps that all the flavour texts are all quite nicely written, and they all change depending on which deep one you're using. But the actual game effect of this card is buying information. The lead investigator, which at the minute is D, who's holding the camera,
What?
the lead investigator gets to test shaky hand skill, as I call it, or influence, as everyone else calls it, and he gains a number of clues equals to his test result.
You've got 4 that I can
Wow.
see.
So that is
Let's have
pretty
a look.
good.
I don't get any additionals, so I've
About
got
one.
0,
Whoa.
0, 0, and 1. So
So
I gain
D
1
has
clue.
gained 1 clue.
That's always good.
And that is the end of the turn. Another pretty good turn for us as the good guys.
Yeah.
So that's a live turn. So I think we'll maybe give you another update as the game
When
goes
we-
on. So
when we
probably
did
at
the
the
second clue.
when we
Yeah,
when we do the second one,
mystery.
we'll give you an update over what is our next objective, and then when we've won, because this game is freaking easy. Well,
Great, now you've ruined it.
Next,
spy talk.
Next review will be dead.
Right. Well, let's.
Alright, here's a quick update on how we're progressing. We have completed the last objective.
Which was stop the deep ones from attacking the coast.
That's right, me and Michael jumped on that. And Anthony smashed up all the gates around the city.
Keeping the gates under control.
And he's
I
just
did
being
spy
shifty.
Spy stuff.
So the ways you lose the game, which is something we only just noticed, the different ways of losing the game are this track up here gets down to 0. We've kept on top of that. You basically have to keep closing gates. If you close lots of gates, that track doesn't move very far. So we've been really good at closing the gates. So that track's still way near the top.
Because I've got the gate box.
Yeah, Tony found an artifact earlier in the game.
I gave it to him.
He found
this is
it,
true.
traded it to me.
Spy stuff.
So if that gets to the bottom, the old one wakes up, and then we're really likely to lose the game. The other way we can lose the game is if we run out of Mythos cards, and we only just noticed we've only got 5 left.
So that means we've got 5 turns left.
We've gone through what now? 10 maybe?
I think we've gone through 9 now. So we figured that out last turn when I noticed. So we thought, oh, we better get moving. So last turn, Jason and I finished the second mystery. So we've now uncovered the third mystery, which is called Riley Arisen. There's an evil city at the bottom of the ocean somewhere,
Which
to
is
the south of South America, or west of South America, and that has put this little token on the board, which is the question mark token. So to solve the next mystery, we have to go to that token and do some special encounters, which have their own special deck. What a shock! Go there, and we have to complete 2 of these cards to solve that mystery. So we can all make a beeline there, because if we solve that mystery, we win the game.
Woohoo!
So it's looking good. I'm going to say it. Nothing can stop us now.
Oh man! Oh. Right, we'll come back later and tell you the good or bad news. Thanks, Michael. Right, the end of the game has come, and we have won. Well, I say we.
Yeah.
They have won.
Do spy stuff.
We all came down to the bottom here to get that last Eldritch counter on the last mission. D failed on his attempt, his first player.
He got beaten up by goat people.
Yeah.
Sound like goat people beat me in the face. Sorry, I don't know.
So he failed. Then Tony went and succeeded, but because the phase only ends at the end of the turn, Michael took his turn, tried to do it as well.
What did I do? Oh yeah, I figured out that actually I should give my life to Cthulhu, and he drove me insane on the spot. And my character died at that point.
So the sailor died, and I thought, you know what? I think I'll have a look see what he's got there. So I searched his body.
In this game, when you die, you put your token face down on the board where it died, and other people can come and investigate it. And on the back of your card, you have 2 little kind of like quests to do, depending on how the character died. So Jason went and met my dead body, my body was...
No hesitation. He just went, I'm searching the body.
I was lying on the floor, gibbering insane, so you went up to me, nicked all my shit.
And I was really tough on myself, got loads of stuff.
Look at the stuff you had at the end, that is ridiculous. That is nearly half the...
All the allies. I was like, woohoo! And then
So then that came to the end of the
encounter phase.
The encounter phase.
So then we have to do a Mythos card before we get to the part where we win the game, because we don't win the game until the end of the Mythos card, end of the Mythos phase. So in the Mythos card, we got the one that means that we have to resolve all the ongoing effects on the table.
There's
so
a little red cog symbol thing.
We go around the board and we get to D. What happened to you, D?
Well, my paranoia is still with me, but I decided that one of the dark packs needed to be repaid.
Yeah, 2 dark
I'll
packs.
read it out to you. Yeah, I had 2 because I gained one during a turn as well. So it was 1 of 1,000. The chanting reached a fever pitch. The cult leader placed a ritual dagger in my hand and tells me the time has come. You must pay the blood you owe to the children of the Black Goat. Another investigator of your choice is devoured. Guess who I chose? So I decided to choose Jason.
The leader of the sex boat.
So in this highly hilarious moment, I decided to high-five Tony because we were the only surviving members, and him being blessed, it then got to his turn, and because he high-fived someone who killed someone else, he's no longer blessed.
I'd had it all game.
I had that all game.
All
It was
game.
so good for you as well, hadn't it?
Well, there you go. Those 2 have won. Michael and I are out of the game.
We're dead. So we solved the final mystery. So when you solve 3 mysteries, we win the game. So the stage of the game at that point, the Doom track over here had gotten all the way down to 4.
Yeah, it went down really quick.
It did. It started to really speed up.
Well, it was only on 5 until I got devoured.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, D.
Yeah.
But I think we were finding it reasonably easy, weren't we? Because I think that I was explaining that the way the Mythos deck works, there's a large selection of Mythos cards the game gives you, and they are divided into different sections. And if you want to make the game easier or harder, you can remove certain sections. But the ones with these blue bits on the side of them, they're ones that are really helpful to the players, and the ones with the tentacles on are ones that are bad for the players. So our first 6 turns
There's a
we
medium
had...
one as well, isn't there?
Yeah, and the ones without anything on the side are medium. But during our first few turns, we got nearly all good ones, and I think that really gave us a speed boost at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Gave us a lot of equipment, and I think our characters are also handy as well. I mean, my character was really good at sea, and because of the old one we had, there was lots of stuff at sea, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So I was using my special powers all turn.
And Tony was really useful at the top with his blessed gate box. Yeah, he just closed gate after gate after gate.
Monster with a gate box that I managed to train him to spy.
That character seemed really solid. The fact that he ignored the delay mechanic as well was just really
that
good.
was useful. Ignoring the delay mechanic, being a bit of a combat monster, and having an action where you can remove one monster health as an action and one of your own health.
Yeah, because that let you kill that evil creature on top.
Also, the fact that as a soldier you can't be detained, and that came up I think twice for Tony
You
as well.
can't be delayed or detained, have the detained condition.
Yeah, really.
I thought my character was really good as well. There was nothing I couldn't do.
I think one thing which definitely helped you a lot is, because it may be different in different games, that a lot of allies came up here and you used your ability to good advantage, where you successfully persuaded.
Yeah, I played this game once before, and a friend of mine, Paul, was playing this guy, and I think we only in the first 3 or 4 turns, and after that we were doing so badly we lost not that far after that. But I think one ally came up in the deck, so he was using that ability not at all. Whereas you, every turn, were like, oh, I'll have that ally, have that ally.
Yeah.
And then you just look at your allies and like, well, one of these will help me in this situation.
Yeah, I mean they're all good. They all gave me abilities, healing abilities, gave me extra clue tokens. They were just brilliant. I could go anywhere on the board and just go, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this.
What do you think of your character, D?
I did really like. I thought.
I hate her.
Thematically, I found it quite entertaining for myself, because all the cards I kept on drawing were very shady and spy-like cards as well. Like I kept on going down like dark alleys and hiding in shadows and finding shifty people.
Right, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Then you sacrifice somebody.
And I might have sacrificed somebody like that. It's only one of 1,000.
Just watch out. I'll come back as Cthulhu next time.
I thought it was quite interesting. I didn't use my ability that much. It was, if I have no clue tokens, I gain 1 clue.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was
which
really
would be really good, but
there were loads
you were
of
just
clues on the
getting
board, weren't there?
loads and loads of clues,
Yeah.
really easily, so it didn't seem that powerful. But if the game had turned out of not many clues we were getting, this probably would have seemed a lot better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was an interesting character. I don't think I had a massive impact on the actual gameplay. I was just mulling around, just collecting little bits.
You had a massive impact on the ending.
Well, you know, you had a
Until the final turn.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Well, you was a spy. You waited until the end and then sprang out the shadows.
The important thing is I won and Jason didn't. In a co-op game.
Yeah, co-op my ass.
On a different note, I think the game was really good. Some of the
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I think one of the best mechanics is this sort of thing where you've got like this dark
I
pack
haven't
card.
played any game that's had this mechanic in before, but it's genius.
Just the one thing we kept on saying that we really like about it is the fact that, so the dark pack cards, for example, I've got 2 of them. I earned them through different ways, but they both have different results on the back. So,
like the 2 he had, one killed me, one killed him.
Yeah, the other one which I didn't successfully
Fail.
I didn't would have actually killed myself. So it was quite interesting that I had to repay the pack which didn't kill me. It killed someone else.
Which would have been fun if you failed that one as well, because that would have left just me.
Just me. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, one of the most common, these are called conditions you get. One of the most common ones is when you take out a bank loan, you get debt condition. And we must have had 5 of those, and what did we have?
Somebody jumped out and tried to carve a symbol.
Yeah, I was captured by
a
sorcerer. You got a mud hit put against you.
Yeah, they chose the wrong person to
Then
try
you got
and
somebody
hit
trying to blow him up in an alleyway.
I got the person.
Oh, and that's how you got your
dark
pack from
the
your
first
deck.
one, 'cause
Yeah.
he was like, I'll cut you a deal if you I'll write off your debt if you sign this. Yeah, sure.
Bank of Cthulhu.
Jason had somebody try to nick all his stuff instead of it.
Yeah,
The worst thing,
he
I
did
didn't
a
even
bank
take out a bank loan. I just got it because I was the first player.
But it's the fact that all the different, and even your spell, when you
Spells are the same, yeah.
yeah, you had a spell, didn't you, Dee,
Yeah.
that you tried to cast and it went wrong.
Yeah, I tried to cast Conjuration and once again on the back, depending on how
So
many
freaking
successes
shifty.
you get. Yeah, so I dark pack trying to do Conjurations.
With one law.
No
Two
magical ability.
the same spell, Mists of Really, and I've just looked at the back and they're 2 different outcomes. if you do it. So
Nice.
I think it's really, really clever how you can see the same cards on the front, but the fact that it will be completely different.
That's it, and even if we know all the results, because when you play the game a few times, you generally seem to know what's going on. But the fact that, say, D had his 2 dark packs, one of them would kill him, one of them would kill somebody else. There's 2 really different outcomes.
Well, if I'd only had one, the next time I might have had, I might have thought, well, it's not going to kill me, it might kill someone else.
Yeah,
So I might say,
exactly.
yeah, I'll take a dark pact again, and then it kills me, and then I'm like, oh, sad.
And it's not like, say, if a debt mechanic always sent mob people after you, it would make it so that really good in combat characters would be much better at taking out bank loans. Whereas the fact that actually, a lore character can escape from the sorcerer easier, it helps balance it that way. But I think that's my favourite mechanic. I really like it.
Let's do a verdict. Do you first?
Yeah, definitely thumbs up for myself. Reason for that is I liked Arkham Horror. I think this game is a quicker, simplified version with all the same mechanics, and that thing we just discussed is brilliant.
Yeah, really good. You Tony?
Exactly the same. Yep, Arkham Horror. Enjoyed that. Enjoyed this as well. It's a streamlined version. If you want a longer game, over 4 hours, play Arkham Horror. If you want a quick 2-hour game, play this one.
It may have taken us more than 2 hours.
Well, there was a lot going on between games, but yeah, I agree. What do you think, Mike? Is your game?
Arkham Horror is one of my favourite games of all time. I love the cooperative nature because it's one of those games that is fully cooperative. And a couple of my friends have got Arkham, so I never bought it myself. So that's why I wanted to buy this, so I had a similar version. And yeah, I love it. I think it's really good. I really like the fact that different old ones give you different sets of cards. Like when I played it last week, I was playing a different old one, and his missions were completely different, the mechanics on them and such. And I think that's how they're going to expand the game when they release expansions. They'll do a simple, here's some more old ones, and then it gives you a load of extra decks to go with that old one, so it changes the theme of the game again.
Almost certainly.
Fully thumbs up from myself.
Yeah, definitely a thumbs up for me too. I thought it was excellent. Really, really good. Really good components. Some really good mechanics. I think theme-wise it was really good as well. You definitely felt like things were going on and you had to travel around the world.
Yeah.
But because it's such like the 1940s or something,
1930s,
yeah, you can't go really fast. So it's traveling specifically where you need to go, not just anywhere.
Yeah, you need to plan a couple of turns ahead.
Yeah.
Even this mechanic, when I first saw this mechanic for the tickets, I thought it seemed a little clunky. Because it seemed to be just to resolve the fact that it wouldn't let you move twice in a turn because it doesn't want you repeating any action. So it was like buy one. The fact you can save them up and you can buy them twice and then use them.
You can have a maximum of 2, but yeah, I thought they were really good as well. No, I definitely think that Fantasy Flight's got a winner here. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Arkham Horror in the world, but I do like Arkham Horror. But this was excellent, really good.
It is very similar to Arkham Horror, but it is, as I think Dee said, it's streamlined Arkham.
Yeah.
It's got lots of very similar mechanics.
It's got enough of a difference from this to Arkham Horror, so I think if somebody who has it wouldn't then disregard Arkham Horror and say, I don't want that Eldritch Horror.
Yeah.
There's still 2 completely different games with different mechanics, enough to make you say, well, we've got 2 different types of games, same theme, make a different choice. So it's not a replacement. It's just another different avenue to explore. This definitely worth buying.
Well, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. We certainly did. It was top fun. That's Eldritch Horror. Go get it.